The girl stood over her mom's body and asked her not to die. The girl calmed down a little when she realized that her mom was still alive. She had to watch helplessly as she died 10 whole times. She decided that it wouldn't happen again and asked her mom to be patient for a while since she wanted to save her. She promised herself that she wouldn't lose her mom again, and this time she would be okay. Then the girl drew a magic circle with the help of a stone. A man approached the grid and said that being sick was not enough reason to avoid him. He thought she was a stupid woman and would die soon anyway, and then he might not be able to hold back when he beat her daughter. Then the man suggested that the girl might be useful for something else. He began to think of ways to use the child of a past emperor. It was the ruler of the Edward Empire. The girl was born as the daughter of the previous emperor, but no one considered her a princess of the empire. She was born with strong magical abilities, but was banished from the kingdom of Afrida because she couldn't control them. That person was her mother. She was abandoned by the royal family of her native country, and then she met the girl's father, who was an emperor. They ended up falling in love with each other. The girl remembered that her father genuinely cared for them, but hid because he was afraid someone would try to take advantage of their abilities. The girl wasn't called a princess, but they were happy, and that was enough. Before she was 3 years old, there was a rebellion in the country. The father of the previous emperor was killed by his younger brother, who became the new emperor, and for the girl and her mom, a real hell began. But the mom tried with all her might to protect her daughter. However, when the girl turned 5 years old, her mom died. Nevertheless, it was after the girl's birthday that her magical power awakened, which was enough to even turn back time. She tried many times to prevent her mom's death, and finally, after 9 failures, she succeeded. The new emperor asked the girl how she even dared to run away from him. After all, the man believed they belonged to him. The girl, sitting with her mother in a magic circle, tried to prove to the emperor that they were not his things. Then the man wanted to approach the girl in order to teach her a lesson, but thanks to magic, he was unable to do so. Then the girl managed to break the barrier of the imperial palace. The emperor ordered his guards to capture the girl. The man didn't want to give the girl her mother and a chance to escape from here. The girl didn't want to see him anymore, and so she began to conjure. She joyfully said goodbye to this tyrant. The girl was able to transport herself and her mother to the Ivlant Manor. She was very happy that they were in a different place now, and that after so many attempts, she still succeeded. Just as suddenly, Archduke Xenox Ivlant appeared. He asked the girl who she was. The girl was overjoyed to see the Archduke. After all, he was the one she had been looking for, as he was a candidate to take her father's place. When the girl asked the man to take care of her and her mother, because that's when he could get instead of the emperor, she was going to pull it all off with her magic power. But the man didn't understand how he could even agree to anything in such a situation. But the girl tried to change his mind, saying that if he wanted to become emperor, she would definitely be of use to him. She really wanted the man to protect them. And then the force left the girl, and she fell right into his arms. The man looked at the unconscious woman next to him and realized that she was the mother of the child. He noticed that the woman looked a lot like his wife, who had died in an accident 5 years ago. Her name was Alanson Knox. The man had a feeling as if he heard her voice pleading for him to help them, and the Archduke agreed. He took the little girl in his arms and promised that he would take care of them. The little girl was peacefully sleeping a sweet dream when suddenly she opened her eyes. She saw a man in front of her. The Archduke noticed that she was finally awake. Then the girl began to remember that on her 10th attempt, she had managed to escape with her mother from the imperial palace. She was glad that it wasn't a dream after all. The man inquired that she had stayed here and thought it was a dream. Then he demanded that she tell him everything. The girl decided that she could by no means let him intimidate her. The girl explained that she was not a thief and had come here to make a deal. She explained that it was a pact with her and her mom, and in return, he would be able to get the emperor's seat. When the girl started talking about her mother, she remembered that she was unconscious. The girl demanded that the man give her mother back now and asked what he had done to her. When suddenly she caught the hem of her own nightie and almost fell. But the man's strong arms saved the girl from falling. The Archduke noticed that the girl was as light as a feather. The girl threatened the man that she would use magic again, Then he thought that she would faint again if she used it. She tried to cast magic, but could not do anything as her magic power had not recovered from the overexertion. It was hard for the girl to tell where the ability she had gotten on her 5th birthday came from, but the return of his time helped her learn something. Namely, that she couldn't heal her dying mother or break the barrier of the Imperial Palace without the magic circle. However, she realized that this was the power that the Emperor wanted to possess, and with it, he could surpass even the Archduke. The girl realized that as long as her body was weak, it would constantly shut down. She was determined to prove to the Archduke that she could prove herself. But then she would have to stay in bed even longer. She couldn't do that because she didn't even know where her mother was. The man asked the girl how old she was, and she said that she was 5 years old at the moment. The man asked the girl to explain what had happened. He wondered who they were and how they were able to move here with the help of magic if magic cannot be used in this mansion. The man thought he had shown enough mercy when he waited 3 days for the girl to wake up. The girl was very surprised when she heard that she had been in bed for 3 whole days. She realized that she had used a lot of power. She decided that it was too early to trust the Archduke. The girl said she didn't care about that right now and asked for her mother back. She promised the man to answer all her questions later and threatened that if he laid a finger on her mother, she would not let it go. The girl knew that their deaths would trigger a mechanism to return to the days when they were still alive. She didn't know how many times she could go back, but she wouldn't be afraid, and decided that if anything went wrong, she would discard this life and start over. The girl noticed that his smile wasn't as warm as her mom's. She realized that she could no longer trust adults, no one but her mother, and decided that she would no longer let anyone take advantage of her, but instead use the man for the sake of her and her mother's future. The man said that by keeping silent, the girl could only complicate her situation. He explained that he was not the kind man who sits uninvited guests, even if they were children or weak women. The girl noticed that the Archduke's gaze was more dangerous than the Emperor's. She decided that this was even better. The guards were discussing among themselves the rumor that Archduke Ivland had started the rebellion, but had been caught and executed. Another man was very surprised by this news, as the Archduke was the best swordmaster of the empire. The girl overheard this conversation. In all those 9 attempts, Xenox Ivlant never managed to become emperor. He tried each time, but he was quickly caught and executed. The girl did not know what motivated the Duke to do such a thing, but he was definitely a greedy person. However, this was well suited for the role of a protector against the emperor, as he was basically capable of rebellion. The man then asked the girl if she thought about the fact that he could have just killed her mom. But the girl reminded him that he spared no callers. But if she was alive, that meant her mom was too. The man remarked that the girl was a quick thinker. Then the girl's mom appeared on the doorstep. She was overjoyed to see her and immediately threw herself into a hug. She confessed that she was very worried that she wouldn't be able to see her mom again. She explained that she didn't quite understand what had happened, as she had opened her eyes already at this point. The girl's mom inquired who the man was. The girl explained that this uncle had saved them. He was there when the girl woke up. The woman inquired if he had really saved them. The man saw that you could say he had. Back in the cell, the girl's mom explained that no one would intercede for her in this place, and this power is not a blessing, but a curse. So the girl decided that it was better for her to lie than for her mother to know that the power had awakened. She realized that otherwise big trouble could start. The girl asked her mom how she was feeling. Her mom explained that she was fine because a kind man had called a doctor and he had helped her. Then the girl realized why they were not together. The girl asked the man if he was the kind man. Suddenly, the mother wondered how exactly he had managed to save them. The girl tried to switch to another topic, asking to talk about it later. She noticed that her mom's face was so pale and asked her to get a good rest. The mom agreed. The girl confessed to the man that she only wanted one thing, so she asked him to make a pact with her and her family. But the only family she had was her mom. But the man didn't understand why he would do that. He explained that he was not weak enough to hope for a child. The girl didn't expect such an answer and tried to get out of it as best she could, saying that he wanted to become emperor and he could really use her for that. The man asked the girl why she thought he wanted to be emperor, because it was a rebellion and it was unacceptable even for a child to talk about such a crime. The girl knew, but tried to explain that the current emperor killed her daddy and tortured them. She is the last person in whom the previous emperor's blood flows, so the girl assumed that it might come in handy. She was also not lacking in magical power. The man was in agreement that she could be the current emperor's weakness. After all, she was the child of the previous emperor. But he still didn't know what good it would do him. Suddenly, the man tensed up and didn't understand how the girl knew so much. So he decided that he needed to figure it out before the situation became dangerous. The girl asked again as they teamed up. She explained that she was strong enough to break through his barrier. She also added that she wanted to escape the emperor more than anything, and knew that the Archduke didn't like him. She then inquired if it would be better for them to act together to accomplish what they wanted. The man then said that only the strong are recognized in Ivalent, and so she must prove her worth. If she showed strength, she could then become part of the family. The girl decided that since she still had time, she would ask for one more small thing. She asked the man to pretend like he was the one who saved them. He should also say that he brought them here because he wanted to help. The man agreed and explained that if she didn't prove her worth, there would be no place for her here. The girl then began to conjure. In a split second, a magic circle formed on the floor. She decided that to make right now a complex and strong barrier, which she expects from the house of the Archduke. But it's still simpler than the hundreds of spells of the Imperial Palace. Therefore, it can be broken even without a magic circle. Therefore, the girl decided that she could do it. The man was greatly surprised and couldn't believe that the girl could do something that even his children couldn't. So he asked the girl if she could do something else. Even though the girl was already exhausted, she continued to conjure. The man thought about the fact that he had personally set up the barrier, and if the girl was able to break it down and rebuild it so easily, then she was quite strong. He explained to her that he had simply asked her to show her strength. Then he realized that the girl could be useful, so he held out his hand to her. But he noticed that the girl was already fast asleep from powerlessness after the sorcery. So he decided to see what the future held for them and called the girl his new daughter. When the man came out, he ran into his son. The boy was clearly happy to see his father. He was the second child, whose name was Archduke Alan Ivelant. Then he asked the boy how old he would be this year. Alan replied that he would be 8 years old and showed the number on his fingers. The man noticed that his son was heavy, while the girl was much smaller and lighter. The boy then inquired if there was someone there. Alan admitted that he had heard the girl was small and then wanted to play with her. The man explained that his son was going to have a little sister. The father then asked his son not to hurt the girl as she was too small. The boy thought it was boring, but the man assured his son not to worry as it would soon become a lot of fun. The girl woke up due to the sunlight beating on her window. There was a maid in the girl's room. The girl became worried and inquired who she was. The girl informed that it was a pleasure to meet her and introduced herself as Cecilia. She also added that today she would help and train her mistress. The girl inquired if the girl was not going to say hello to her, and it was better to do so. The maid explained that it was not a good idea to get to know people that way. She advised that you should start by looking at the person you are socializing with, as when meeting for the first time, a subordinate should wait for a person of higher status to allow you to bow and greet them. The girl then asked the maid why she was the first to greet since she was a subordinate. The maid pointed out that the girl had no manners. The girl learned that any person in the palace who appeared to be kind at first was actually a liar. So she decided that she could not trust anyone. So she immediately informed the maid Cecilia that she did not believe her. The woman explained that she had been ordered to treat her as the daughter of the Archduke for no reason, so the girl would have to put up with it. The maid then grabbed the girl by the arm and dragged her along. She didn't know how they got here, but informed her that they would have to go through her upbringing. Cecilia also added that the young mistress and gentleman were also raised by her. The girl began to scream then, but the maid explained that there was no point as they had made some arrangements and no one would be coming until they were done with their training. Suddenly, Alan burst into the room. The boy wondered why it was so noisy. He noted that the volume was unbearable, so he couldn't help but come in. The entire force immediately bowed obediently to the young gentleman. The boy inquired as to what was going on here. The maid explained that they were trying to start training, but she wasn't being listened to. It was then that Alan realized that Cecilia was talking about this child. The boy noted that the girl looked like a skeleton and asked how old the girl was. But the girl asked the young gentleman to speak first. Alan began to boast that he was all grown up, as he was as old as 8. He joked at the girl that if she didn't answer, it meant she didn't know her age. The girl admitted that she was 5 years old, but the boy didn't believe it. Then the girl had to repeat again that she was 5 years old. Alan thought she looked no more than 3 years old, but the girl was outraged by this statement. Then Cecilia told the young gentleman that he had better leave the room and took the girl in her arms to continue her training. She explained that no one would be able to see the girl for the rest of her training. The boy replied that he understood and headed for the exit. The girl realized that the woman would be annoyed again if the boy left. She noticed that the woman's eyes were full of venom. The girl then decided to try to hold the boy back. Alan noticed that the girl needed help and assumed that she wanted to ask for something. The boy admitted that he wasn't really interested in helping the skeleton, but he decided to give it a try. But she would have to call him brother to do it. Then Cecilia asked the young gentleman not to talk as if she were doing something bad, but the boy said she was, and told the girl he would try, and held out his hand. And again he asked the girl to call him brother. The girl thought this was strange, as she thought only family members were told this. In the end, she had to say it. Alan was glad that the girl called him big brother. The girl reminded him that she had spoken, then he must keep his word. The young master asked Cecilia to let the girl go. Cecilia explained to the young lord more forcefully that it was his lordship's order. The boy then asked the maid if her father had told her to abuse the girl. The girl tried to explain that she was not bullying at all. Then the boy told the maid to let the girl go, as the girl did not want that. The girl thought about how she did not like adults, as they could not be trusted and only bullied, and laughed. However, as strange as it sounds, this boy she trusted. Taking the girl in his arms, the boy noticed that she was heavier than he thought and decided to take back his words about her being 3 years old. Cecilia then turned to the young gentleman again and asked him to stop and to return to the room as they needed to continue their training. The boy wrenched his hand out of the maid's grasp and asked her if he was nothing to her. The girl tried to explain that that was not the case at all, and once again reminded him that it was just training. Then the boy asked if Cecilia had fed the girl before. The maid admitted that she had not. Then the boy ordered Cecilia to bring the food. The girl noticed that the young master could use force, though it looked clumsy. The boy kept boasting about what a tough brother he was, but the girl explained that she could handle herself. Just as suddenly, another boy appeared on the doorstep, looking very much like Alan. He admitted that he thought at first it would be an illegitimate daughter. But he also noticed that she had nothing in common with them. It was the eldest son of Archduke Rexit Ivlant. Alan tried to explain to his brother that it didn't mean anything, but Rexit stood his ground and said that their family's blood was very strong. All direct descendants had blue eyes, and the girls were yellow in color. The younger brother reminded the older brother that that was too rude and admitted that he had heard things from his sister. The older brother inquired as to what it was. The boy explained that the trait had not been passed down in the previous generation, and his sister had also said that the children had inherited their mother's looks. The older brother explained that this was a very rare occurrence that did not happen more than once every few generations. The older brother pointed out that the younger one was still so immature and asked him to leave so as not to embarrass the family. The girl thought about the fact that she had never received love from other people, and this boy's behavior was familiar to her. That said, it was surprising that the younger brother came first and tried to appear friendly. The younger brother didn't want to go as he had to make sure the girl had eaten. Then the older brother reminded them that she wasn't their real sister. Alan parried that their father had said that she was now part of the family. The boy was surprised that their father could say such a thing. Rexit then approached the girl and wondered if she could talk. He also wondered if their blood really flowed in her. But the girl realized that it was clear from the looks of it that they were different, since Bibi was the daughter of mom and dad. So the girl gave a negative answer. The older brother once again tried to prove to the younger one that she was not a member of their family, and he didn't know how she even got into the mansion by tricking their father. He promised that she would soon disappear from here. That's when the girl spoke up. She decided to explain that even though they are not of the same blood, she will not be going anywhere anytime soon. But the boy didn't understand how she could stay here if she wasn't a member of their family. Then the girl explained that they are family by contract. Rexit didn't understand what the girl meant. Then the girl repeated again that although they don't share blood, she too is part of this house. The boy still couldn't believe that his father could make a contract with someone like her. The girl explained that she was very strong and had earned their father's attention with that. Rexit was infuriated by this, as he believed that the father was much stronger than the girl. He also pointed out that she looked like she was going to collapse any second. The girl then explained that even the dogs hadn't noticed the barrier disappearing. Alan was amazed that such a small girl was able to remove the barrier. She also added that she needed to get rid of it to prove her strength. Rexit again didn't believe the girl's words and thought it was nonsense. To somehow elevate himself above the girl, he decided that he too could do such a thing right now. Then the girl decided to take him at his weakness. She proposed a deal. If the boy broke the barrier, she would leave. But the boy thought that was ridiculous, since he couldn't do that if the barrier was already broken. But the girl explained that she reinstalled it. She also wondered where his power was if he didn't even notice it. Rexit again accused the girl of lying. But the girl explained that she wasn't lying, but the boy was clinging to every little thing and didn't even see the barrier himself. She called him a weakling, and also added that she doesn't like weaklings the most, and told the boy to get out of here. Rexit called the girl just a fake, but she reminded him that he didn't even feel the barrier. The girl then wondered what difference it made if she was a fake or not. After all, here the power is with those who have the power. The girl said that it was more like he was useless. Rexit felt bad that he was so shamed by what the girl had done. The girl explained that she wanted to live in safety and she would not harm the Archduke. So she asked the boy to stop bothering her and leave. Before leaving, the boy said that she was the one who should leave and slammed the door shut. The girl thought about the fact that it was really necessary to bully her, and she was so relieved that for the first time she wasn't having nightmares. Then Alan asked his sister if he had to leave too, even though he didn't want to. The girl thought that so far the boy was good to her, but he might hate her, so she decided that it was better to distance herself. So she told Alan to leave, not to come back to her. The boy tried to explain that he was worried, but the girl explained that she liked being alone. She also added that she couldn't trust people. The boy replied that he understood her, but decided that he would still come over to play. Before leaving, the boy called her sis. The older brother told the younger one not to contact her anymore, as it was a disgrace to their family. But the boy stood his ground. He wanted to spend more time with his new sister. But here, the girl was glad that they were finally gone. The girl realized that she could only trust her mom and would do everything she could to make her feel safe. Walking over to her mother's bed, she told her to sleep well. Just then, someone knocked on the girl's door. It was Cecilia. She brought her some food. The girl replied to just leave it and go away, but the whole series she stood on the girl to open the door. But she didn't want to do that at all. Then sat down, and there was nothing left but to threaten the girl that if she continued to behave like this, she would call his lordship. The girl was pleased by this turn of events, so she answered the maid to bring the Archduke. The girl wondered if he liked her little gift. Cecilia asked the girl if she was sure, as she might still regret it. But the girl answered that she would not regret it and hurried the maid. The girl was just thinking about seeing him, and the question resolved itself. She pondered that he must be very busy and would come sometime in the afternoon. But in a few minutes, the Archduke was already at the girl's door. The girl was surprised, for he had come earlier than she had thought, but still she decided that it was even better. When she saw the man, she said that she was very happy to see him, and also called him her daddy. The man was very surprised by this. Seeing the man's reaction, the girl thought it was with him. The man was a little embarrassed by this. Then the girl began to regret calling him her daddy, as suddenly she realized that he wasn't looking at her at all. Then the girl realized he was looking at her mom, and decided to ask why he was looking at her. The girl became worried that the Archduke was interested in her mom. The man decided to change the subject. He wanted to know why the girl called him daddy. She explained that since she was staying here, she needed to call him that. After all, they had made a contract and had become a family. The Archduke was in agreement. The man told her that the children had been looking for him. He assumed that his sons had already met the girl. The man decided to ask the girl if she was sure she wasn't afraid to confide in him. If a single rumor reached her, she would definitely change her mind. But the girl knew that they called him the Mad Archduke, and also that some had gone so far as to blame him for the death of his wife. She had heard that the man killed anyone he didn't like. The man noticed how the girl doesn't take to saying something like that, so he decided to ask the girl in case he got angry at these words and killed her. The girl confessed that she was not afraid of death at all. She realized that she would be eaten if she showed even a little weakness, so she decided that she had to look strong in the eyes of others. Then the man was curious to know the reason why the girl closed the door and wouldn't let anyone in. He assumed that she had done so in order to meet the Archduke. The girl admitted that she didn't want to have conversations with people who had no influence on anything. She also recalled that they hadn't agreed since she had fainted. The man decided to ask the girl what she needed. The girl once again reminded him that she was a very helpful person and even reset the barrier. She inquired of the man if he was strong enough to feel it, but the man asked the girl again what she wanted. He also added that he couldn't read minds. The man explained that they had made a contract and the other family members would consider the daughter of the Archduke. The man wanted to know what else the girl wanted. The girl wanted to officially join the family. She felt that a contract was not enough if she wanted to truly secure herself. To do this, she decided that she needed to be brazen, but she and her mother were always ignored, did not listen to their requests. So she decided she didn't want to ask for anything. The man asked the girl why she had stopped talking so abruptly. The girl explained that he wouldn't listen anyway, so she wouldn't ask for anything, but would just thank him. She wanted to be sure if the man would definitely let them stay here. The Archduke gave a positive answer. Then she wanted to make sure if he would definitely protect her mom since it was a promise. She decided that she would not beg, but would rather revisit the matter when her abilities were recognized. The girl decided to inquire how the Archduke liked her gift, but the man did not understand what she was saying, so the girl reminded him that she had created a barrier. The girl was very proud of what she had done, but all the man replied was a request that she better eat normally. The man explained that such a weak body and would not last a couple days here. The girl was surprised that the man was worried about her, but then she insinuated to herself that it was impossible since someone like him wouldn't do that. She decided that she was just being helpful, and that was the end of it. But still, her heart was in no way calmed. The Omnipotent One asked the girl if she was satisfied now. The girl did not understand what the maid was saying. Then she explained that his lordship had come all this way for her. The girl decided to remind the Omnipotent that she was a maid. The woman became very angry that the girl addressed her as you. The girl wondered why she would treat someone who treated her badly well. The woman repeated that she had already said who she was and also named her position. She noted that the girl did not seem to notice anything. The woman also added that she had taught both of the Archduke's sons. The girl replied that she was not interested in such an education anyway, so she told the maid to leave the food and leave. Cecilia admitted that she really wanted to pick up a stick, but she couldn't do it, so she told the girl to just eat and rest since it is late today. It was also added that his lordship told her to give the girl a day off. Cecilia gave an advice to the girl to make sure to wash down the dry food with water. The girl did not believe this concern and assumed that Cecilia was faking because of the Archduke. The girl thought that the man had told them something, which was why Cecilia was acting so strangely. She looked at the tray and noted that the food looked very good. However, she still decided to eat and realized that she could make it through the week with this. She decided that perhaps this duke might have a drastic change of heart and decided that she needed to be prepared for anything. The girl knew well that adults were always so suddenly transformed into completely different people. It was like that with absolutely everyone she met, but now she couldn't be harmed by such things. The girl missed her mom very much and learned that her voice would definitely give her strength. But still, the girl decided it was best not to wake her mom. The only servant the girl met was Cecilia, and she was hostile. Despite the fact that the Duke would make her his adopted daughter, their relationship would not change from that. The girl didn't care, but she knew it would hurt her sick mother. So she decided that first she needed to show that she was better than the other kids. So the girl kissed her mom on the cheek and told her that she missed her very much, but she better sleep a little longer. The girl's mom's body had suffered a lot of abuse. Therefore, it was better for her to rest than to stay awake. The girl decided that she needs to become the daughter of the Duke officially as soon as possible and secure her surroundings. Only then will the girl be able to wake up her mom. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. The girl thought that it was very loud and it would be easier to just open the door already and walk in. The girl didn't like that kind of local etiquette, and especially waiting for someone to open the door for you. It was Cecilia. She asked the girl to open the door since they should already be starting school today. The girl replied that she wouldn't study and asked her not to force her. Cecilia tried to change the girl's mind, saying that if she wanted to live here, she should follow the rules. But the girl decided to sit in her room and ordered the entire force not to pester her with her etiquette as she didn't need it. When Cecilia stopped knocking, the girl thought she had finally calmed down and decided to look around. The girl began to look around her room. It was very luxurious, but suddenly she found a strange door that led into darkness. The girl wondered what was in here. The girl did not expect to see something like this, as she thought it was a normal guest room. She assumed it was a passageway for a discreet escape, and thought about the fact that maybe that was what the whole mansion was covered in. The girl decided that since she was used to the darkness, she could safely go in there to look around a bit. The girl noticed that it looked like a cave. She thought about the fact that she and her mom could escape through it. The girl also felt the wind from the other side. Suddenly, the girl heard the older brother telling his father that he couldn't accept the new little sister. The other supported the boy's side, telling his lordship that he too thought it wasn't a good idea. The girl realized that there was a meeting going on behind this wall. An older man said that he, as a representative of the vassals, could not agree, as he felt it was not right to let everyone in before those they hardly knew. This was the representative of the vassals, the Marquis of Alentra. The boy expressed to his father that he thought they should kick the girl and her mother out, as the efforts of both the father and the girl to protect this child seemed odd. The boy suggested that they might be spies. Then the father asked his son to stop talking nonsense. After all, this woman sleeps around the clock, and her physical condition is only to lie in bed. The man said that regarding the child, his decision would be final. He did not understand why everyone was against it. Then the eldest son asked his father why leave the girl here. He wondered if the girl lived on the street. The father then asked his son what exactly he didn't like. The boy explained that she gave him the creeps, and there was no special reason. He just didn't like her. He thought that this girl was becoming his sister without any special features, and he didn't like how easily his stupid brother had taken her in. He believed that they could only let real children into their home. The boy noticed how different they were, as their hair and eye color were completely different. He was very worried about what others would think. Then the man asked his son, since when did people care about the opinion of others? The man warned his son that if he kept arguing, it would not be done easily. He also said this to everyone present. The man warned that if they held meetings for such silly reasons, they might regret it. The man was very angry and warned against testing his patience, or advised him to find a good reason why one should not be here. Then the man would probably change his mind. The Archduke announced that the meeting was over and called for his son. The girl realized that this was just what she needed. She realized that she was so useful that the Archduke did not listen to his children. Then one man commented that it was like a thunderbolt. Another said they could be patient and kick them out later. He also wondered what kind of woman this was. The man thought that his daughter was supposed to take the Duchess's place, and here she was, and with a child, that she wouldn't let it go. Another man suggested trying to use the Archduke's eldest son. After all, he was obviously against it. It would be to their advantage. The man explained that the young lord would not be so easy to bend to his will. The man was in agreement that the ideas were not good, about the future becoming unpredictable if left like this. The other man was in agreement that it would be better to take advantage of the young gentleman. Then the Marquis offered a finger to his lips, a sign to be quiet, for they should be overheard by someone. The girl also covered her mouth with her hands so as not to make a sound. The Marquis suggested that they discuss everything another time, as there are always a lot of rats in this place. The other man asked the Marquis what he was looking at. The man explained that this mansion was often the target of invasions. Therefore, it has a bit more secret passages than one might think. He also added that at first the current Duke's reign was not attacked, but the passages remain. Another man asked if the Marquis had recognized that there was a passageway. The man replied that they could be anywhere, but he was sure it was best to remain on guard. The girl now realized what the passage was for. She noted that there were no doors here, and they couldn't get in from the other side anyway. Suddenly, the man picked up the poker because he thought that something might be behind the fireplace. The girl was already afraid of being seen. The other man asked the Marquis if there was something there. The man explained that he had just smelled an unfamiliar odor, and perhaps he had just imagined it. Another of the vassals suggested that we should start to disperse, as the will was already over and the Duke might suspect something. The Marquis was in agreement with him. The girl exhaled a breath. She didn't know the man's name or appearance, but she knew for a fact that his name was Marquis. She assumed the man had good instincts, so she needed to be careful. The girl decided it was time to head back. She overheard the conversation at the meeting and went on her way to get back to her mom's room. She had to walk for a long time, passing many other rooms, and eventually she got lost. The girl didn't know how she could get back. Suddenly, she heard someone's voice asking his lordship what he would do. The voice addressed to the Duke and noticed that he looked like something was bothering him. The Duke explained that the girl had called him daddy, admitting that it sounded strange, though he hears that from his children all the time. He also thought that the girl looked like she was barely alive, but dared to call her father. Another man supported the conversation by saying that he hadn't seen the girl in person, hearing more and more interesting stories about her. He admitted that it reminds him of the twins when they were younger, replied that it makes it even scarier since they blew up that building several times. The man next to Duke asked what he would do, since the new mistress doesn't reveal to anyone that the series goes under the office, and wondered what she should do. The girl thought about the fact that she had to go back, but she did not know how to do it. Suddenly, she heard the Duke call her a naughty girl. The man knew that the girl wasn't eating anything and no sounds could be heard from the room. He thought it was nothing. The man realized that it seemed their fidgety girl was examining the labyrinth now. The Duke told his handmaiden that he would take care of everything and he could go. He also asked him to tell Cecilia to go back to her room, as he wanted to handle everything himself. The handmaiden agreed. The girl thought it looked like it was an isolated office, and she would have to ask the Duke how she could get back to her room. Touching the wall, the girl realized that not being too thick, she wouldn't be able to signal that she was here, as she was suddenly blinded by some bright light. It was the Duke. He asked the girl if she liked the maze. The girl answered in the affirmative and said that she was very interested. The man asked how she had gotten here, as the place was quite far away. The girl admitted that she had something to say, which was why she had come. But she confessed that she had already changed her mind and would not talk about it. The girl thought about the fact that if she told about the fact that they had been threatened, it was more likely that the people here would not believe her than they would believe her. The man then asked the girl if she was being bullied. The girl gave a negative answer. The man then had to agree that everyone has things that are better left unsaid. The man repeated that he had already explained that he was not a kind or patient person and asked the girl to remember that and told the girl to go back to her room. But she could not do so as she did not know how to get there. The man asked how the girl got here so easily and what was the problem to go back. The girl explained that she did not know the way, as she had been living in confinement all the time and was not used to such traveling. At first, the girl tried to leave marks on the walls, but realized that it was too dark, and therefore they could not be seen. The man inquired why the girl was living in confinement, but the girl ignored the question and asked the man to take her to her room or ask someone else, whereas the man volunteered to walk the girl himself right up to her room. Then the girl told the Duke that he was a kind man after all, but the man started to deny it and said that he would just be annoyed if the girl stayed here longer. The girl looked at her dress and asked the man if there was a place where she could clean it, because if Cecilia saw it, she would not let her down. Then the man said, "Girls, don't worry, promise to take care of everything." The man noticed that the girl was often deceived, so he asked her not to worry and just go. The Duke asked the girl if Cecilia was bothering her. The girl responded positively, explaining that she was too pushy, but she did nothing wrong, and the girl even thought they could get along. The girl noted that the man calls himself a bad person, but she thinks he's much better than he seems at first glance. The man started to deny it, but the girl tried to change his mind, so they got into an argument. After a couple of minutes, the girl realized that she was tired of running after the Duke as her legs were quite short, unlike the man. The girl admitted that she wanted to look around a bit and asked the man not to rush so much. The man looked at the girl's legs and realized that it looked like she wasn't going to speak honestly. The man approached Cecilia and asked why the girl had come to him. The girl replied that she was sure the mistress was in the room. The maid noticed a great deal of dust on the girl and inquired where she had gotten so dirty. But the man replied that it was not that important now and told the girl to go back to her room. He also added that the girl had soiled herself when she was near him and ordered Cecilia to wash her. The man thought about the fact that since he was here, he would like to look at her. The Duke blushed at the thought of the girl's mother. The girl inquired if he was going to leave. The man replied that he had to go and left. Cecilia asked the girl if she really wanted to walk around dirty, as she resisted taking a bath. The girl said that her mom might get even sicker. Cecilia didn't understand what one could do to get so dirty, so she asked the girl what she had been doing. Cecilia was worried about what others would think if the girl walked around like that, but the girl didn't care at all about other people's opinions. She also added that she might as well bathe herself. Suddenly, Cecilia noticed injuries on the girl's back. She wondered who dared to do such a thing to a small child. Then the girl asked the maid to just not look. Then Cecilia decided that she would wash the girl with her eyes closed. The girl felt as if the maid genuinely cared for her. The girl inquired if the place was truly unloved. Cecilia denied it and gave an affirmative answer. The girl admitted that Cecilia seemed like a good person, but decided that it seemed she was mistaken. The girl then said that it was better not to trust people so easily and stay that way. Cecilia advised the girl not to think about others, as unnecessary openness can only hurt. Cecilia also added that the girl should not trust her. The girl wondered why Cecilia was trying to seem like a bad person, but the girl replied that it was nothing like that, as she was just visualizing what she wanted to teach the girl. The girl explained that these are not etiquette lessons, but survival lessons. The girl then announced that the washing was finished and the girl was free to go, but she just needed to eat. The girl admitted that she wanted to ask Cecilia something as she wiped her. The girl asked who these people were who wanted to kick her out. Cecilia could not give a definite answer, for she knew there could be many. Then the girl began to wonder if she wanted that too. The girl replied that she was simply following his lordship's orders, for if he said he considered the girl a mistress, then she would. And she has absolutely no reason to kick the girl out. The girls then wondered who had one. Cecilia explained that those whose position might change because of the arrival of a new person, but suggested that those people might be vassals. Cecilia also added that the vassals would probably consider the appearance of the girl's mom more dangerous than hers. The girls wondered why exactly. Then Cecilia said that if she ate well, slept well, and didn't lock the door, she would be sure to tell. The girl noted that Cecilia's clothes had become dirty, but the most important thing for her was that her mistress was clean. The girl noted that bad people never admit that they are bad, but instead try to appear good. Then the girl decided that Cecilia was good. The maid was going to tidy up her hair after she had eaten. Even though the girl didn't trust Cecilia, she thought about the fact that maybe grown women could be normal. Cecilia informed the girl that she had brought her food and also inquired if the girl wanted to eat anything in particular. The girl then ordered hard bread. The maid was very surprised by this, but the girl knew that such would keep longer, and soft bread would definitely be eaten by mice. The girl was surprised that the girl liked this kind of food, so she decided to ask if she liked meat and fish. But the girl realized that since she hadn't eaten anything for several days, it would be very hard for her to digest it all. Then Cecilia said that she would ask to cook something soft, and also add hard bread, and also bring warm milk. The girl suddenly wondered what would happen with their training, as she thought Cecilia was going to talk about etiquette. After wiping the rest of the crumbs on the girl's face, all Ceres explained that she only wanted to teach her things that would make people not ignore her, but for now, she could just eat in peace. Cecilia informed her that she would prepare things to help get the girl's hair in order. The girl mentally talked to her mom, and she admitted that this place wasn't that bad, but she decided that she still wasn't going to trust people completely. Cecilia took the scissors in her hands and told the girl that it was time for her to get a haircut. The girl got really scared and started screaming that she didn't want to. The girl was beaten and cut to a pulp. She saw the thread of the scissors dozens of times, and they always made her eyes darken. The girl noticed how much the girl was shaking and explained that she would not cut her hair. Also apologizing, she explained that she just wanted to make her hair long. The girl then brought the girl over to the mirror and asked her if she liked the hairstyle. The girl was shocked by her reflection. The girl asked Cecilia if she wanted to survive, she would have to participate in etiquette. Cecilia began to worry about pushing hard alone on the girl. But the girl tried to explain that this was not the case at all. The girl narrated that the Duke's mansion did not have the best reputation, but in this place, her life was not threatened. Suddenly, the girl wondered why Cecilia had changed so much towards the girl. Cecilia said that there were many children with blue eyes and black hair who came to this family. They pretended to be descendants of the Duke, and also wanted to prove that they were related to this family. The girl remembered her older brother's words that the Duke's blood was so strong that all the descendants had blue eyes. In the end, the children who came said that the Duke was their father, but Cecilia had to chase them away. Then the girl inquired if she thought the girl was the same. Cecilia gave a positive answer, but also explained that she then overheard their conversation with Mr. Rexit, and how the girl denied being a direct descendant of the family. The girl admitted that she began to look at the girl completely differently after that, and realized that she was wrong when she saw the scars on her body. Cecilia thought that it would be better if only she saw them than someone else. Cecilia agreed that the girl could treat her maid and the others badly, but the girl explained that she was trying to give her some comfort so she wouldn't have any more nightmares. The girl wondered if she had been talking in her sleep. Cecilia explained that she was calling for help. Cecilia then suggested that they stop there today. The girl inquired as to what. The girl then explained that she was talking about learning etiquette, as the foundation starts with how one looks at the person they are talking to. The girl realized that the girl had done a lot of things today, and she shouldn't overdo it. The girl thought it was a concern on Cecilia, explained that it was her way of trying not to tire her out with learning, so she decided that they had enough for today. The girl found it odd that the maid had changed her attitude so quickly. It made her uncomfortable. Then Cecilia said that tomorrow she would return everything as it was. It seemed to the girl as if Cecilia were a different person, and so she thought it was better to let her hate her at once than to show her kindness and trample on her hopes. The next day, Cecilia suggested that the girl should go for a walk, as she had not gone out once during that time. The girl tried to explain that sitting all day long was very unhealthy, so she suggested that the girl take a little walk. Cecilia held out her hand. Well, the girl explained that she couldn't leave her mother. The maid then assured the girl that the door would be closed. She had nothing to worry about as no one would touch her mom. She also added that his lordship had ordered the room to be guarded. Cecilia then suggested that there might be another reason why the girl was refusing, but the girl just didn't want to talk about the fact that she had overeaten, as then the whole series would think she was acting like a child. But still, the girl thought about at least saying hello to the others, and in the end, she agreed to do so. The girl was calm, since she had cast a protective spell. If her mom was touched, there would be an opportunity to find out who was trying to get rid of them. With this method, the enemy would be much easier to catch. The girls with him on promised her mom to come back soon. Cecilia decided, to begin with, to take the girl to the garden. She was sure she would like it. Suddenly, the girl heard the other maids discussing her. The girls were discussing that the girl was completely different. They didn't understand why this fake was necessary. One girl expressed that this girl was definitely picked up in some strange place. Another maid asked them to be quiet as they could be heard. Then the girl came out from around the corner and ordered the maids to repeat everything she had said. And the girl heard everything clearly. The girl heard the maid of the mansion discussing the appearance of her mistress. The girl turned to them and said that if they could not say such a face, it was better not to open their mouths at all. The maids immediately fell silent. Then the girl inquired why they were silent. Suddenly, Cecilia came in and remarked that it seemed the ducal maids lacked manners. The other maids immediately began to apologize to Cecilia. The girl told them not to apologize to her, but to the mistress. The girl said she didn't need to, and in return inquired about their names. The girl threatened that if they did not answer her, then she would take them to the head maid. Then there was nothing left for the girl to do but give their names. One of them was named Lily, another Rachel, and the last Annis. When the girl heard their names, she decided she could let them go. The girl focused her attention on the last maid named Annis and remembered that she hadn't said anything bad about her. I also expressed that they could leave, but they would not get away with it. The girl then decided to move on. The maid told the girls that reprimanding and educating the maids was also her job. Cecilia noted that the girl did very well. The girl realized that the girl used to be fearful, so she shared that in order for the Duke's daughter to not be able to stand up for herself, the girl said that she was not fearful in any way. The girl decided that Cecilia was strange, and since she decided to raise her right, but softened again. The girl explained that it was her duty to protect the maids, but she didn't want to do that. Still, they gossiped in a new reckoning of the family. The girl explained that the girl had an amazing power lurking in her that made her feel a feeling she couldn't explain. The girl admitted that she hadn't felt something like this in a very long time. A place that no one takes care of, where animals and snakes live. Unpretty landscapes with no flowers or fruit. The girl knew the garden, only like this. Cecilia informed the girl that they were almost there. Ahead was the garden of the Duke's estate. The girl was very surprised by what she saw, so she wanted to go for a run, but asked the maid if it could be done. The girl answered in the affirmative and added that as long as she liked, she could run here. They say one floral scent can change your whole world. The girl realized it was true. The garden was like walking into a picture she had seen in a book. The maid asked the girl if she was happy like this. The girl admitted that she liked it very much. Mentally, the girl noted that she wished her mother could see it too. The maid immediately realized that the girl was thinking of her mom, as she smiled when she thought of her. The girl became embarrassed and admitted that she wanted to get a better look at the garden. Then the maid allowed the girl to walk further as well. Suddenly, she met another girl. She looked like another of the Duke's children. The girl confessed that she was the new fake daughter. She also mentioned that this was a very nice place. Then the girl got angry as she remained ignored. But the girl admitted that she was not ignored at all. The girl began to think about picking some flowers for her mom. So she decided to ask the maid in advance if she could do it. And the girl gave a positive answer after picking an orange flower. It was with her mom's reminded the girl of the shining stars, so she decided that yellow would be good. But the girl continued to get angry and glare at her, and then came up and snatched from the girl's hands the bouquet that she was picking for her mom. Then the girl couldn't stand it and asked what she was doing. The black-haired girl just wanted to draw attention to herself. My girl replied that she should fight with someone else because she was busy right now. The black-haired girl explained that she didn't want to fight. She just wanted to talk. The girl admitted that she was very curious where her maid Cecilia had gone to be in charge of their training, but was very upset when she saw her maid with this girl. Then she asked the girl why she wanted the fake. Cecilia indignantly replied that we were just following his lordship's orders. The girl got even more angry and blamed everything on the other girl. She was very angry that she was being treated like this because she is a real daughter. She is one of the 4 real children, unlike the girl. The girl started to think that if her little brother already had a sister, why did he call her that? She decided to ask him about it the next time she saw him. The young mistress didn't understand why the girl didn't deny anything. Hopefully, she admitted that she had said all the right things. The girl didn't deny the fact that she was a fake at all. This misled the other girl, and then she wondered why, and the girl decided to stay if she knew about it. The dark-haired girl confessed that she was annoyed by the blonde girl's temper. The fair-haired girl could say the same thing, because the girl came out of nowhere and throws flowers. The girl with black hair got even more angry. She said that fakes don't need flowers. The girl admitted that she doesn't care who the Duke loves, especially since she hates useless things, and this also applies to children. Therefore, the girl asked the dark-haired girl if he was useful. The dark-haired girl immediately began to boast that no one could compare to her. The girl then informed her that she had to go now, and also thanked her for ruining her mood. The girl took it on her own account and thought that the girl was afraid of not liking her. So she decided to ask the girl if that was the case. But the blonde admitted that she didn't care at all about the girl's opinion. She also added that she recently read in a book that poop is avoided, not because they are afraid, but because it's dirty. This further saw the girl out of herself. Because the girl's bouquet was damaged, she only had one flower left. The maid tried to cheer the girl up by saying that they could come to the garden later when Harris was gone. The girl was in agreement. The girl realized that it was best not to be greedy. She decided that it would be enough. She decided to be happy that she could give her mother at least one flower. The girl asked who Harris was, as it was the first time she had seen someone with such bad manners. The maid told her that his lordship had 5 children. Mistress Astor, who will be 16 this year, followed by 8-year-old twins Rexit and Alan, and the Archduke's second daughter, Haras. Then the girl decided to introduce herself as well. Her name was Bibi, and she was also 5 years old. The girl remembered that she had never been able to see Astor, so she was very curious about what kind of person she was. The maid told her that she was the Duke's first heiress. Bibi recalled that the maid had said that she was a girl, and Bibi didn't know if a girl could be the heiress of the family. Cecilia explained that Mistress Astor was older and stronger than the others. The girl also added that she entered the academy after being top of her class, and she hasn't been second to anyone since. The mistress also excelled in fencing and magic. Omniscience added that his lordship valued strength more than anything else, so she was appointed successor almost immediately. The girls then wondered if there was a big age difference between the children. Cecilia promised to explain when they entered the room. The girl obediently agreed. Looking at the door, she noted that it was different from the others in the mansion. Entering the room, the girl was glad that no one had come in. She realized that if someone had entered with the intention of touching her mom or causing harm, they would have been struck by lightning. But the girl just wanted her mom to be safe. The girl told her mother that she saw a very beautiful garden in the video today and promised that the next time her mom woke up, they would go there together. She also put a small, beautiful flower next to the bed. Then, the maid wanted to continue the conversation they had started. The girl added that his lordship had become a duke at a young age, and all this time he had loved only one woman, and she was Duchess Ellenson Ivlant. The girl added that after the Duchess gave birth to Astor, she weakened, and only after 8 years was able to give birth to boys. After the twins were born, the Duchess said she didn't plan to have any more children, but their duke-in-love was so strong that a girl was born 3 years later. But the maid could not say for sure if Haras was the duke's last child. When the Duchess went for a walk with her children, pregnant with her 4th child, she was kidnapped. The criminals left no trace, so it was hard to find anything. But 6 months later, a body was discovered. The maid said that when his lordship found out, he was furious. It was a hell of a place at that time. A lot of things had changed since then. Mrs. Astaire blamed herself for everything and entered the academy early. The girl thought it was strange that the Duchess was found dead, so the child could not have been born. But at the same time, different children pass into the mansion and claim that the Duke is their father. The maid added that there were signs of childbirth on Madame's body. She held out hope that the child was still able to survive. Madame Haras appeared in the midst of them. She brought with her the Duchess's pendant and the shawl she had on her when she disappeared, so everyone assumed she was the Duke's daughter. The maid explained that the items helped the girl join the family, but she didn't have the magical power that was inherent in the blood of the family, so the girl wasn't fully recognized. Now it made sense to the girl why the youngest of the brothers was only now saying that he had gotten a younger sister, though she didn't really care. Then the girl asked the maid if the purpose of kidnapping the Duchess had been revealed. The girl replied that, unfortunately, no. This seemed very strange to the girl, as such a thing is done for a purpose. The girl knew that books said that ransom was demanded for kidnapped people, but it was something else since her body was found after 6 months. The girl assumed that the guards must have been decent, so it was strange that they couldn't protect. The maid found some truth in the girl's words, since the purpose of the kidnapping remained unsolved. Cecilia was still full of doubts about Mrs. Harris, who had brought the things. Then the girl confessed that she didn't really care much about it. She thought about the fact that if even the Duke couldn't figure it out, then all the more reason she couldn't. The maid confessed that she had a feeling that his lordship cared more about the girl than his daughter. The girl confessed that Peach had personally appointed her to be the girl's nanny. The girl then inquired whether the maid considered herself better than others. Then the maid began to boast that she was responsible for the education of the Duke's children, so she was superior to the other maids. As thoughts closed in the girl's head that maybe the Duke really does care for her, but she also realized that they are not related by blood, which meant that Harris was closer to him, even though he had his doubts. However, the girl wanted recognition. Then she decided that she needed to show favor, to still be talked up if she wanted to leave. The girl decided that she would try much harder. The servant girl asked the girl why she wanted to be a useful person so much, because her existence was useful in itself. But the girl explained that she had been called useless since she was born. But Cecilia is not aware of this. The word useless that always haunted her, but the girl was often bullied because of it. In her cell, they called her a useless wench who steals food. They compared the girl to garbage. So the girl promised herself that it would not become useful to the Duke. The maid assured the girl that of course she could. Bibi stood at the window and thought about the fact that her mother was still alive, and she was welcoming spring for the first time at the age of 5. The girl thought it was beautiful. Suddenly, out of the window the girl saw mountains. The maid explained that the manor was in the mountains, so they were part of his lordship's territory. The girl was pleased as she thought it would be easier to escape that way. She realized that it was too early for that, but she saved that idea just in case. The maid said that she needed to clarify that this forest was teeming with fearsome animals and plants, and the strongest of them is considered to be the silver wolf. The girl was a little scared. It is said that the silver wolf does not leave the forest. He possesses magic and great power. It is also considered the most powerful beast of the mountains in the territory of Yvelant. It is even said that their leaders are the head of the Yvelant family. They can only serve one master and never allow themselves to be turned by anyone else. The pack was tamed by the head of the family. This title was passed down from generation to generation before the last duchesses. They showed up, and there was no way to tame them. Therefore, the person who could handle it could become the next duke. Just as suddenly, the girl heard a wolf howl. The maid suggested that the wolves realized that a story was being told about them. The girl admitted that she wanted to see them, but the maid explained that the wolves were big, and she might get scared. The girl confessed that she wasn't afraid at all. She had no idea how beautiful God could be, so she wanted to see him very badly. Cecilia informed the girl that Alan seemed to like her, since he had left her flowers again. The girl was embarrassed and asked the maid if she met him to tell him that she didn't like them. In fact, she loved them very much. It pleased her that the boy brought flowers every day. It seemed to her that the yellow flower looked like her. Cecilia agreed and promised that she would pass it on, but admitted that she thought she liked the flowers, judging by the reaction in the garden. The girl accepted that she was just going there for her mom. Then Cecilia suggested going there again today. She assured that Mrs. Harris would not be there, as there was a meeting today. The girl confessed that Mistress didn't really like the garden. The girl then inquired why she had gone there that day. Only she didn't know, but she promised that she definitely wouldn't be there today because she doesn't miss the meeting. Then the girl agreed to go. She decided she'd better pick some flowers before the girl barged in there. The maid informed her that it was a good idea and the flowers would definitely please her mom. At first glance, the girl couldn't tell that the maid was worried, but at the same time she called for the doctor. Before leaving, the girl kissed her mom. She couldn't tell it was the effect of her spell, so she decided it was best to play along. The maid announced that she had prepared a basket just in case, so she wouldn't drop the flowers like last time. The maid decided to suggest while her hair dried and go. Looking at the girl's outfit, the maid realized that it was too big for her, but the girl assured Cecilia that it was fine. But the maid had her doubts because her legs were bruised last time. Cecilia explained that her job was to keep an eye on the girl and everything that concerned her. The girl realized that the maid had taken good care of her these past few days. She was beginning to think that Cecilia's likeness was a good person, and she wanted to believe it. The maid informed the girl that she had better ask to have new clothes and shoes bought for her. She was constantly bothered by the closet. The girl said that everything was too small. The girl assured the girl that she was fine with the clothes, even liked them. The maid told the girl that the house clothes are short, so it's okay, but the weekend clothes and she definitely won't fit. especially so when there are also almost no accessories. Then the maid decided to take and alter the dress for the girl. She explained that she had been given Mistress Harris's outfits for the first time, but this was too much. The maid felt that a girl should not be able to keep up with anyone else's clothes, but for Bibi, it was fine. Then the maid promised the girl to ask for new clothes even if someone was against it. Several people, including Mrs. Harris, insisted that the girl leave and were against new clothes. The servant girl reported that she was the one who was pushing back the most, even though she didn't usually make that much noise. The girl then explained to the maid that she shouldn't be afraid of her. It did not suit the girl to be fearful. The maid agreed to do so. As for clothes, she promised to talk to his lordship while the girl ate. On the first day, the girl thought she might be thrown out, and on the second, that the Duke would change his mind. Then she wasn't sure of their future and kept asking for hard bread to close. There wasn't even any room left anymore, and it falls out when the girl opens the nightstand. The girl was in agreement that the hard bread was beautiful, but it was getting harder and harder to look at it after a delicious meal. The girl didn't know what she was going to do with all those loaves of bread now. They wouldn't be kicked out anytime soon, and there was no point in storing it. And if you leave it like that, the mice will eat it. So the girl decided to throw away the oldest one. She spent a few days in that room, had time to look around a bit, and there are only mountains and forests that way, and she didn't notice that people hardly walk around. So she assumed the birds must eat everything, so she threw some breadcrumbs on the ground. Then suddenly, a servant girl entered the room. The girl informed her that she could bring no more hard bread. The girl asked for soft bread, and preferably with ham. The maid promised that she would do so next time. She also informed that it was time for the girl to meet his lordship. The girl ate and thought about whether clothes were so important, even though she was grateful for the maid's work. The maid waited for her mother to wake up, but she never did. And it must be hard for the maid to understand how one could sleep for 10 days. She prepared lunch for her because she thought she might wake up there. The girl decided to pretend that she had. The girl was determined to solve all the problems sooner rather than later and let her mom have a nice meal. And the girl thought Cecilia had come, but it was actually the Duke. He noted how they had become friends. The girl went up to the Duke and told him that it had been a long time since they had seen each other and called him her daddy. The man explained that he was just surprised because she hadn't said that last time. The man asked if the girl had gotten used to the new place and if there were any inconveniences. Then she decided that it was better not to draw conclusions about the man just from rumors. He was dubbed the worst Duke of all time. 1,000 years of Ivalent family history had been cut short by Xenox. She overheard the guards in her cell saying that if he hadn't started the rebellion, the clan would have existed for a long time before the fall of the empire itself. The other man admitted that he thought so too. He felt sorry for the people of the mansion who were unlucky enough to have a master. It was a rebellion whose meaning no one could understand. It was said that dukes used to carry imperial blood in them. In 1,000 years, there wasn't much left of it. However, the Duke still got against the Emperor to take his place, and was destroyed because the Emperor never left his vigilance. After the execution, that Duke tried to seize the throne. The girl looked at the man's face and explained that she hadn't seen him in a long time and was trying to recall his appearance. The man realized that he came too infrequently. The girl thought about all the series saying good things about the Duke because the Duke is a good man. So she decided that she would protect the Duke. The girl knew that there was a spy of the Emperor hiding in the mansion, and she decided that she had to go traitors. Then the Duke asked the girl if perhaps she missed him, but the girl replied that she did not. The man noted that the girl was very brave, as ordinary children try to get his attention at any cost. The girl explained that it was not necessary at all. The man again remarked that the girl seemed like an amazing child, and wondered why she didn't even try to get his attention. The girl explained that it was very easy to lose what was easy to get, and added that she faced that all the time, so she tried to get only the hardest things. The man noted that the girl was reasoning straight like an old man, and children don't talk like that at all. The girl then asked the Duke how children talk. For some reason, the man was surprised by this question. The girl explained that no one had explained anything to her, so she didn't know. She assumed that her mother had tried to tell her, but she didn't remember. The man then took the girl in his arms. He admitted that he just wanted to see her face. But the girl asked him to let go and explained that it scared her as she wasn't used to this yet, and so abruptly. The man accepted this and said he would warn her next time for sure. The man noticed that the girl's face was much more alive, as the first day it looked like she was about to collapse. The girl explained that she could be useful even as she was. Duke remarked that she really liked that word. The girl explained that she doesn't like it. She's just trying not to hear such things from others. A man was called into the meeting. He told the girl that time flies by with her, and he almost forgot about everything. The girl didn't mind being lifted up, but didn't want the man to shake her. The man pointed out that the clothes were too big and so were the shoes. He admitted that he had originally had other plans, so he hadn't given the right clothes. He assumed that another 5-year-old size would fit her. The girl thought that Herzog wanted to check something, since his gaze was as if he could see right through the girl. The girl confessed that she had one wish. The Duke asked what it was, but the thing was that the girl wanted to officially join the Duke's family if possible. Normally, she was afraid to ask for something, but this was not a request for a wish, and she didn't need to prove that she was officially a child of this family. So she freely admitted that she wanted the papers. The girl thought about how her mother would be proud of her if she saw such courage. The man was surprised that the girl's request was to get papers. The girl explained that it was not a request at all, but her wish. Then the man promised that he would fulfill it. Suddenly, the man called out again. He asked him not to rush him. The man turned to the girl and said that he was a little busy right now and offered to discuss the documents a little later. The girl agreed and asked him to keep her wish in mind. The man agreed and asked the girl to monitor her health and tell him right away if she had any problems. The girl called him daddy. The man admitted that he had heard similar phrases from different children, but he was most pleased to hear it from the girl. He remarked how amazing she was. The maid came and told the lady that the Duke had given permission, and now the girl would have to choose between 2 options. But the girl didn't understand what the maid was saying. Then the woman explained that usually tailors come to the children, who will sew clothes for them, or they can go to the nearest town and visit the salon, where they will buy everything they need. The girl confessed that she wanted everything here.